it's Jason, and I just wanted to shoot a quick video, hopefully it's quick, and show the gear I'm using these days. Here it is, fall 2020, for connecting musically via Zoom. So we're probably all using Zoom to some capacity, but I don't do a lot of teaching. I'm definitely not the authority for this at all, but I was just on a call this morning and I had everything set up, so I thought it'd be interesting to just kind of walk through what I'm doing. So let's take a look here. So this is not, I guess it is shameless self-promotion, but I got a course coming out on Discover Double Bass, so that's up, but never mind that. That's not why I'm shooting this video. So this right here is kind of what my setup looks like, and this is my most advanced setup, which is not necessarily advanced at all for what a lot of people are doing. But what I like is, and for playing bass, it presents particular challenges. So I use the Zoom Q2N, which I've shot a review video of. I will link up here. Hope I'll remember to do that. And normally I just use that mic, and that's it. If I'm just teaching a lesson, I don't really teach, but if I have two students that I've had for years, and when I do connect with them, I use that because that's got a nice wide angle that can get me and my bass. And so that is usually sufficient. I was doing something that required a little bit better fidelity in terms of my bass, and I wanted them to be able to hear my voice. So in that case, I break out my Zoom H6 right here, and I have it connected. You can see I've got the LR on, and that's this XY mic right here, and that picks up my bass quite well. It comes in like right around here on my bass, and that seems to get pretty good fidelity audio. And then I have an SM58, which, by the way, is not too much different. People may very well correct me in the comments, but this is actually not too far off from an SM7B, which I know this is getting kind of technical, which is like the podcaster's mic of choice. The thing is that this thing, which is the classic rock and roll, throw it against a brick wall and it'll still last microphone, this works quite well for podcasting, which is really what I'm using most of this gear for. But I love being able to use gear multi-purpose, and so that's what I do. I often just use, I think I have in my pocket here, my Apple AirPods Pro. Again, when I'm connecting with those students, I usually just put the right ear piece in and leave the left one out so I can hear my bass. But when I am trying to do something a little bit higher end, I break out my Audio-Technica headphones and plug them into the Zoom, and that seems to work pretty well. I've kind of done this sort of thing before, but it might be useful to just sort of hear let me go through my MacBook, which I upgraded since I last shot a video like this. This is the 16-inch, the most current MacBook Pro, which is great for video editing and just many things. So let me show you what it sounds like just with the built-in camera and microphone, and then I'll do the Q2N 4K. That's a lot to say. And then I'll do the H6 and the SM58. Also, check out a link in the description below. I'll have all the gear that I'm talking about referenced down there. Okay, this is what you're seeing with the MacBook Pro camera and the built-in MacBook microphone. So this is going to be the worst audio, I guess. It's probably going to be better video, frankly, although it's not a great camera in this MacBook, than the Q2N 4K. But the big problem, and you can see that here for a bass player, is the angle, right? So I'm here, and by the way, I have original sound turned on. So I'll play a few notes so you can hear. Maybe play a C major scale. Okay, so there's just a little bit of how that sounds. The light, from what I'm seeing, looks quite a bit better than the Q2N 4K, but the big problem here is the angle. So let me now switch over to the audio and the video from the Q2N 4K. Okay, now we've got the audio and the video from the Q2N 4K. A giant disadvantage. Oh, let me play so you can hear, and then I'll talk about the negatives. The giant advantage is you can see me and the instrument, and you can see my bow arm and my left hand. Okay, so I'm going to go through this. And by the way, the camera is about 4 feet from me, probably 3 feet from me. Okay, so we'll play open strings, G, D, A, E, and then we'll run a scale. Okay, now a giant disadvantage and of Zoom video, sorry Zoom, but it's the truth in general, is it's just does not handle light very well, in my opinion. So what you want lit, which would probably be me, is I'm a dark shadowy figure, and then of course this is super bright. Now, an easy solution would be to get some light right over here, and that would clean things up a lot. But again, I'm in this tiny space, and I do have a light, and I could get it out, but in the interest of my time, I usually don't. So you can see me, you can hear me, or I think I'll have to watch the footage, and you're not seeing the ideal lighting. That can be rectified. So that's what you're getting in terms of audio and then video with the Q2N 4K. Maybe I should just get a light since I'm doing this video just to demonstrate. I think I'll do that. Okay, so now I have two lights out, and this shows you the challenges of dealing with a bright light source like this, and I just don't have a lot of options. I would say this is marginally better. maybe that's the best I could say. So I have a ring light. I'll show all this in the B-roll so you can see what I'm talking about and just the extra steps that it adds. But I actually broke out both my photo light, the softer light, and I broke out this more direct ring light that you can even see in the shot right over here. And this is with both lights on. This is just with the soft light on. And then we're back to no lights on. So probably a better move would be to position the gear in front of this sliding door, but then I can't go outside. So these are the problems with small spaces. Okay, I'll turn both lights back on. Okay, now I've got the Q2N 4K video on, and I'm using the Zoom H6 as the audio. And again, the XY is on my bass, and the SM58 is for my voice. You're probably hearing my voice come through clearer. And here's my bass, open strings. And then C scale. And now what I can do if I have suboptimal lighting like this is, but I don't always need to demonstrate everything, I can go in with Zoom. This is one of the nice things. I can switch my camera on the fly, so I can go back to the FaceTime camera right here. So this definitely looks better. If I was just not needing to, if I just needed to demonstrate the left hand, this would work great. And you can see how much better the current MacBook Pro 16-inch camera functions under low light. Again, exact same lighting conditions here. In fact, I could even turn off this ring light, certainly, and look fine. So here it is with that camera, and then here's the Q2N, which gives me a good angle, but I'm shadowy. But you can see more of it. So it all depends on what you're trying to do. Okay, so that's just a little bit about how the gear I'm using these days works. I have this quite small space and shockingly expensive space here in San Francisco. So I am in the position where I'm constantly having to set up and tear down my gear, which is, I know, not ideal. I wouldn't recommend that for most people who are trying to teach or create content. If you're just setting up and teaching, this is a pretty good setup. Oh, by the way, one more thing I have started to do is jack in directly into the router with Ethernet, and that seems, well, it definitely helps a lot with stability. I don't know why I hadn't been doing that before, but so I, just for the sake of convenience, I usually don't use the H6 and the SM58, but I do use the Q2N 4K just because of the angle, and I just really can't capture my bass well without it. My dog is kind of scuffling around there. Hey, William, how you doing, boy? How you doing? Want to say hi? So I should probably end this video.